Hello, you join me at Reading Station on the Great Western Mainline. Now today I have an Oxfordshire Day Ranger which is valid from here at Reading up towards Banbury via Oxford and Didcot. And I was looking at the line between here and Didcot Parkway. It is part of the Great Western Mainline and the line has 4 intermediate stops on it. So in today's video I'm going to look at all the stations between here at Reading and Didcot Parkway. Look at the facts which you may not have known about. So firstly, let's have a little look at the history of Reading Station. But yeah, here at Reading it is of course an extremely large transport hub in the west of London. Well, we're not in London, but west of London. It's where the Elizabeth line terminates. It's where all of Great Western Railway service pass through. Cross-country services also start here and go through towards Bournemouth and northwards towards Manchester. Originally, Reading actually had 2 stations, a Great Western Railway and a South Eastern Railway station. The current station here at Reading was part of the Great Western Station and opened in March 1840, with the South Eastern Railway Station being absorbed into the current Reading one in 1965. The station was originally the temporary terminus of the Great Western Mainline and was extended when the Great Western Mainline was expanded to Bristol. A Brunel-built station, it expanded with the opening of lines towards Newbury, Hungerford and Basingstoke by 1848. The station gained a new station building in 1867, being a remodelling of the earlier Brunel building, with further extensions causing the total number of platforms to rise to 10 by 1898. The first electric trains ran into the old South Eastern Station in 1938 from Waterloo, with 12,500 children evacuated to Reading in the war. The station gained the term of Reading General to distinguish itself from the other South Eastern Station, and in September 1965 the Reading South Eastern Station was absorbed into the current Reading Station, leading to the latter's closure. Timetables kept the General suffix until as late as 1973, with station signs mentioning Reading General up until 1974. The old South Eastern Station site became home to a new station concourse in 1989, including the Brunel Shopping Arcade, and the former goods yard became a multi-storey car park. A train's just pulled in, if you can't tell. The station, however, now lacked capacity. By the early 2000s, there were too many trains serving it, and a major redevelopment was necessary. And in 2007, plans to electrify the Great Western Mainline and completely redevelop Reading Station were undertaken. The station would be completely modernised, with 5 new platforms added, 4 through platforms and an extra bay platform for the lines to Wokingham. A new footbridge would be included with lifts and a new street level entrance both sides of the railway. The original subway which connected the platforms would now be blocked off from the platforms and become a pedestrian subway to cross either half of the station. Cow Lane Bridge would now become a cycle path, and new flyovers were added to the west for trains to Reading West, leading to less congestion. Trains could now go over the junction which trains used to come over to go to Reading West. New tracks will be added to Reading West, new junctions, new flyovers to basically reduce congestion around the Reading area. The whole upgrade cost £897 million, which also enabled Crossrail services, Elizabeth line services, to commence in 2022 from the station, with electrification completed as far as Bristol Parkway and Cardiff, enabling the new Class 80X IET trains to begin operating, as well as Class 387s. The new station was opened in July of 2014 by the late Queen Elizabeth. The station today sees all the Great Western services on the Great Western Mainline towards, Plymouth, Penzance, Cardiff, Cheltenham, Weston-super-Mare. Also sees services to Newbury and Gatwick Airport and Basingstoke, and the local service to Didcot. It sees services across the southwest of England. Of course, into Cardiff and Wales and Swansea. I don't think I said that either. Sees Elizabeth line services to Abbey Wood and cross-country services as far as Manchester, Newcastle and Bournemouth. Now, one weird fact that I saw on the Wikipedia was that T.E. Lawrence, the Lawrence of Arabia, lost his first 250,000 word draft of his 7 Pillars of Wisdom autobiography. 250,000 words he lost at the station. He dropped his briefcase and left all of his words, all of his first draft for his autobiography here, and he had to rewrite the whole thing in several months. 3 months it took him to rewrite 250,000 words from memory. Quite impressive. Now, the station has seen several proposals as far back as 2011 for a direct line to Heathrow Airport, allowing for potential services, from the north to get to Heathrow. Now, this new Heathrow line would be on the Waterloo to Reading line, operated by South Western Railway, and more recently there are proposals to put it on the Great Western Mainline between Ivor and Langley. There's no information on this, and I don't know if it will ever happen now. There is a direct bus link which is advertised in the onboard announcements on the trains though. Reading itself is, I believe, the largest town in the UK and one of the largest places in the UK which is not a city, with 335,000 people calling Reading home. It has attempted to become a city countless times, 4 times, it's failed all 4. It's located close to where the Thames and Kennet rivers meet, and its economy is solidified in technology and insurance due to its close proximity to London. It's located in Berkshire and was the site of Reading Abbey, one of the largest monasteries in England in the medieval times, with some remains remaining to this day. It's also played a role in the English Civil War and is home to Reading Football Club, which has its own station now, Reading Green Park. Reading has 3 stations, Reading, Reading West and Reading Green Park. The station itself, the redevelopment has been, I think, really good. I really like it. It's kind of complicated, the station. The original station building survives to this day. There's 2 entrances and exits. I believe one of the second entrances is like a mini bus station. But yeah, it's a complicated station, but it's a nice one. It's very modern. It feels very spacious, capacious I guess would be the word. But we don't have any time to waste. There's 5 stations between Reading and Didcot, including Didcot. So let's go and have a little look at those stations, starting with the first station, literally just a few minutes down the line of Tilehurst.
Tilehurst, Pangbourne, Goring and Streatley, Cholsey and Didcot Parkway.
Right, yes, it's rather noisy here. For some reason, I've happened to pick the one day where there's a bunch of like Network Rail engineers doing some, I don't actually know what they're doing, but it's noisy. Anyway, here at Tilehurst Station, there are a lot of old First Great Western and Network South East signs here. There's quite a lot. Now, the station here at Tilehurst was originally opened in 1882, a whopping 41 years after the line first came through here. The Great Western Mainline first came through here in 1841. The station has not really been touched very much. It's still got its 4 platforms. Of course, the most major thing to come is up here, the electrification of the Great Western Mainline, and the whole station was sort of completely, not rebuilt, but it's got platform extensions. It's got this new massive footbridge here which has lifts, which was one of the big upgrades of overhead electrification works. The station managed to get lifts, as did a lot of the stations on this section of the line and the whole Great Western Mainline. The station does have ticket office, toilets, it has the lot, which is quite surprising for a little station. We're basically just to the west of Reading, in sort of a suburb called Tilehurst, of course. There's not a lot here, really. There's like fields to the left of me, houses to the right. Here I am, stuck in Tilehurst Station. It is quite a pretty station. It's still got a lot of the original Great Western Mainline buildings. It's got this amazing cute little waiting shelter on platform 4 and the main buildings on platform 1 and the island platform here and platform 2 and 3, which has most of the toilets and things. The station has more recently, since COVID, had a small upgrade which has included more car parking spaces, more cycle spaces and extra retail facilities at the front of the station. Now, in the most recent passenger figures, Tilehurst Station was the 1,000th most used station in the UK on the dot out of the 2,586 stations in the UK. And it got 385,000 people at the station in the last year. But yeah, I mean, apart from that, there's not a lot to say about the station. As pretty as it is, it doesn't have loads of history in terms of things happening to it. This is just basically a commuter station on the outskirts of Reading, basically. The electrification, I'll talk a little bit about the route that we're on, the London Paddington to Didcot service, which is half hourly. Now, previously, I'm not sure if it was half hourly or hourly, but it was served by Class 165s and Class 166 turbos, which, I mean, it's a huge upgrade. The 387s, most of them are 8 carriages long. They are much quicker trains, and they are just far superior to the turbos in every way, in terms of capacity, in terms of the amount of the service that Great Western now provides. I mean, the fact that this little station, you know, in the leafy suburbs of Reading, gets a half-hourly service to London, half-hourly service to Didcot, provided by some of the most modern trains in the UK, is quite crazy. And I think the electrification has been a huge upgrade to stations like this. And you can see that in the passenger figures as well. They have risen substantially since the electrification, due to the better service that electrification has helped to provide. Now, Tilehurst itself has the name Tilehurst. It literally means the tile wooded hill. Tiles play quite an important role in Reading due to the brick and tile industry. Now, the name Tilehurst was first recorded in 1291. There's a train, is there a train? Oh, it's a Voyager. In 1291 as a hamlet, before the land was passed down from several rich noblemen, one of which constructed Didcot Park, which was a manor house in 1759 in the area. Didcot Park was constructed in the area in 1759, and the area became built up in the 1920s. It was sort of like a nothing, tiny village hamlet. The area became much more built up in the 1920s when a lot of semi-detached houses were constructed in the area due to the growth of, well, people in the UK. And then after the war, there was a shortage of houses, and they chose Tilehurst as a location to build a lot of houses. So a lot of houses were built in the 1960s. Westwood House, which was a massive manor in the area, was demolished, and all its grounds were turned into new buildings and houses in the 1960s. So the area is now very much a suburb of Reading rather than its own place, and the actual town, village town centre of Tilehurst is a good half an hour in that direction. It's a good walk away. So all the houses nearby the station are actually from the 1920s and 30s construction. Now, nearby is Narcott Hill, which used to link Tilehurst to Reading with an overhead cableway system with buckets of clay, which were transported to kilns in Grovelands and Kew on Kentwood Hill to make bricks and tiles, hence the name Tilehurst. Production of this ceased in the 1960s. The Thames and the Thames Pass will be following the Thames for most of this video, and the Thames is literally just over here. The Thames Path, which follows the Thames, is just here, and it's so close that I want to go on the Thames Path, but it's a 20-minute walk to get to the Thames Path from here, which is kind of awkward and annoying. So I don't have the time. I only have about 15 minutes here. So yeah, that is Tilehurst. Cute, quaint station on the outskirts of Reading, literally like 3 or 4 minutes on the train from Reading. They've just pulled out a massive pole thing. I don't know what, I think is it a street light? Are they replacing the street lights? I don't know. Let's go see Pangbourne, which is the next station, and an amazing name, by the way, Pangbourne. What a cool name. But yeah, let's go there. Hello, I'm here at Pangbourne station, which is such a cute and quaint little station. But a little wander around, it is just so pretty. There's this lovely old station building on both platforms here. This is one of the few stations which only has 2 platforms on this stretch between Reading and Didcot. I think it's the only one actually, because the other platforms were demolished. I don't actually know when, there was no date, but I imagine sometime in the 20th century at some point. But yeah, this place is pretty quaint. It does not have step-free access. It has an underpass, so it does not have any footbridge. So it's one of the few stations which isn't step-free access on the newly electrified Great Western Mainline. But yeah, it's nice here. Now, the station here opened in June 1840 on the line between Reading and Steventon, which was a station just past Didcot on the line towards Swindon and Bristol and whatnot, and that was the original terminus, I believe. The station was originally the first station out of Reading before Tilehurst was built, and that's sort of it. There's not a whole lot to say about this station. There's an underpass, which I've already mentioned, but has another entrance on the other side, and there's this beautiful old sign which says trespassers, you can't go up this path. I believe it's like a private path for residents, or it used to be the path which went up to the old platform 4 or platform 1 or whatever, the old fast line platform. But yeah, it's quaint, it's got a ticket office, it's got toilets. This tiny little station in a village which has a population of 3,000 people has a ticket office, and a lot of other stations don't in the UK, which have a lot more people near to them. So yeah, it's nice, this one. The actual village of Pangbourne is just really cute and quaint. It's just very, you know, we're right by the Thames. I can literally see the Thames. I'll go down to it if I have time. Yeah, it's nice. It is pretty here. Oh, I mean, it is. I'm at the Swan pub I'm in their car park, so sorry about that. Yeah, you don't need me to tell you that that's pretty. It just is. If only the weather was nice. I can imagine on a beautiful summer's day, but here I am in mid-January when there's this storm coming through. It's very cold as well, but yeah. The village itself isn't like hugely influential or important, really. The author of The Wind in the Willows, Kenneth Graham, retired here in Pangbourne, dying in 1932, with the scenery of the area of Pangbourne and the River Thames inspiring some of the characters in The Wind in the Willows. Nearby there's a private school at Pangbourne College, and they have a Falkland Memorial Chapel, which was opened by the Queen making another appearance in the video, in March of 2000. She actually revisited in 2007 to commemorate the 25th anniversary of the Falklands War. The memorial was built to commemorate all those that died fighting for the Falklands. And Jimmy Page, the founder of Led Zeppelin, owned a property here in Pangbourne, with the band having rehearsals and script writing here in this quaint little village in, where are we, Berkshire, which is quite funny. Now, I'm not sure if you can see, but there's these two metal poles here which feel as though they're quite old and probably had an old sign, so I wonder if anybody knows what used to be here. Yeah. It's also worth noting that in between Pangbourne and our next station is a park called Beale Park, as there is some sort of train which is about to pass through. It's an IET. And I believe Beale Park is some sort of big like wildlife park. I can't get to it because it's in between two stations, it's not near here, but the signs here say Pangbourne alight here for Beale Park. Does anybody know why there is just a random bench here at Pangbourne station, just sort of looking a bit sorry for itself? Right, just left Pangbourne. Next station is Goring and Streatley. Welcome to Goring and Streatley, which already I think is my favourite station on this line. There's just something about it. It is just, it's cute. I love here on platform 4. There's this whole like garden, loads of greenery. Then you've got, I can see like a cottage over there. Oh, this is the HSTs. What was I saying? I was talking about, I can see like a thatched cottage or something over there. So yes, Goring and Streatley station. The station in this village opened in 1840, and we're currently in the village of Goring. We'll get on to why it's also called Streatley in a second. But yeah, the station was opened with the station being very close to the border of Oxfordshire here. I believe the station is in Berkshire, but the village of Streatley, which is a little way away from here, is in the village of Oxfordshire. Now the station, like a lot on this part of the line, has 4 platforms. The 2 fast ones aren't really used anymore, and then you have the 2 slow ones here, which are used by the half-hourly services into London. Now the station was opened between Pangbourne and the now closed Molesford, which we'll have a look at in a little while. And the station was known as Goring and Streatley because it was previously known as Goring, but then Goring by Sea was opened, and they wanted to add another suffix on the end of this, Goring and Streatley, to ensure that passengers didn't get it confused with Goring by Sea, which is in West Sussex and operated by Southern. Like a few of the other stations, now has a footbridge, new disabled access footbridge installed in 2016 due to the electrification of the line. Has this huge, like, incredibly wide island platform, like wider than most of the other stations on the line. I'm not sure why here it's so wide, but yeah, it's huge. The station building here on the island platform here, platforms 2 and 3, half of it was actually demolished to make a way for the accessible footbridge. If you ever look at the building, it's very short at the moment, and there was an old waiting room and I believe the ladies' waiting room and a set of toilets were demolished to make way for the footbridge. Now the actual village of Goring has a population of just over 3,000. There's a lot of very small villages with a very good train service along this line, the same with the next one as well, and of course the previous one, Pangbourne. It is in the Goring Gap, which is where the Thames cuts through the Chilterns and the North Downs. And if you look at the station signs, they actually advertise to get off here for the Chilterns and the Wessex Downs. The actual village itself is super pretty. I will try and have a little explore, but just I was looking at Google Street View yesterday. There's like a beautiful old bridge which goes over the river, and it's just very quaint and English countryside-y. Now, Streatley is on the other side of the Thames. There's a Goring and Streatley bridge, which is about a 15-minute walk from here, so I don't have enough time to go there, unfortunately, because I won't make the train back. And on the other side of Goring Lock is Streatley, the village of Streatley, which doesn't really have much to really shout home about. It has some old Neolithic Bronze Age tools which were found there, and 60 people died here in 1674 when a ferry capsized in the Thames. To the west of Goring and Streatley lies Goring and Streatley Golf Club, as well as the Loughdown and Larden Chase Hills, which I was looking at some photos that offer some like really beautiful picturesque views of the hills around here, although I can't get to and it's foggy. I'm not sure you're going to get a good view today of the scenery. But yeah, that's about it here at Goring and Streatley. Why don't we go to the penultimate station in today's video of Cholsey.
Approaching Cholsey. Please mind the gap between the train and the platform.
Hello, I'm here at Cholsey station, which is again another pretty station. I've actually been here before. I think it was a year and a half ago. I can't remember why. I think I just chose a random station to go to for an hour. I remember walking down to the Tesco and having a meal deal. But yeah, it's sort of the same story as the other station. It has 4 platforms, except it doesn't. It actually has 5. Yeah, Cholsey has 5 platforms, including a bay platform for the line to Wallingford. This station opened in June 1840, originally known as Wallingford Road, and was actually located several hundred metres behind me, just to the east of the A329 bridge. 26 years after opening in 1866, it was renamed to Molesford, and a branch to the nearby town of Wallingford was opened, which is just north of here. It ran parallel to the Great Western Mainline before it ran through Cholsey village and then curved northbound just after. Now in 1892 the Molesford station site was resited to here in Cholsey, and that's where it got its name, Cholsey. And the station remained pretty much untouched for another 67 years until the Wallingford branch closed in 1959 and to freight in 1981. However, it is now actually part of a heritage railway named the Cholsey and Wallingford Railway, who commenced operations in 1997. I believe they run on some summer weekends and bank holidays, but there's some like signage down there and things. But yeah, I believe it runs parallel to the Great Western Mainline on its own track and then branches off towards Wallingford, but there's still a station to this day. Yeah, that's about it for the station. It has 5 platforms, 4 of them on the main line. One of them is a heritage platform. They're currently in the process of sort of rebuilding. It looks like platform 2 here, which is the fast platform towards London. Seem to be rebuilding that at the moment. There's a lot of building works and stuff going on. Just behind me, there's Network Southeast signage. There's a lot of it still. Cholsey, the village itself, has a population of about 3,500. Again, another very well served station with not many people here, and has been inhabited at least since the Bronze Age at nearby Whitecross Farm. Now the Icknield Way, which is a pre-Roman road, came through Cholsey before it crossed the Thames. Well, across the Thames, you have to get a boat over. It crossed through here at Cholsey, and this is apparently one of the oldest traceable roads in the whole of the UK. It is a very old road, predates the Roman invasion, predates 43 AD, and Romans settled here pretty extensively. They found a lot of things, including a Roman villa and other Roman artefacts. The name Cholsey, which is really difficult to pronounce, I keep on pronouncing it Cholsey, it was actually from a guy called Chol, who was the King of Wessex, or I guess Chol, or something like that. He had an island, Chol's Island, here in Cholsey. I don't know why it's an island. This area isn't an island, of course. We're in like Oxfordshire now. But yeah, for whatever reason, Cholsey literally means Chol's Island. There's not a lot to say about Cholsey. I mean, I've been to the village centre. It's quite nice, it's okay. There's like a very nice farm, it's all green over here. Come back in 20 years, it'll all be houses, I'm sure. I'm surprised that these areas aren't actually built up more, given the incredible location that you are as a commuter town to London. I mean, the next station is Didcot, which is a large commuter town, but it's so surprising. The last 3 or 4 stations in a row have just been places which have like 3,000 or 4,000 people in them, and they have this incredible service to London every half an hour. Why are we not building houses here? Well, I'm not saying we should. It's quite nice with a quaint little town and village getting such a good train service, but it makes so much sense to build houses here. One thing I must say, I'm like having to crouch here, is that these trains are always so empty. If you want to get a Class 387 to yourself, come down to the Didcot to Paddington service. The service here is incredible for the village that it is. But now it is time to go to our final station in today's video of Didcot Parkway. You join me here at Didcot Parkway, a major station on the Great Western Mainline and the terminus of the services from London Paddington via like Slough and Maidenhead, the local services from Paddington. It is an important station on the Great Western Mainline here. It's a junction for the Cherwell Valley Line off towards Oxford, and of course the Great Western Mainline passes through here towards Swindon and Bristol and that way. There's also the Didcot Great Western Heritage Centre just over there, which we'll talk a little bit more about in a little while. There's like 4 Class 66s which I can see at the moment. But yes, the station here opened in 1844, 4 years after the line first opened through Didcot. And originally this station should not have existed. Didcot should not have become the railway town that it has become. Originally, Brunel wanted the Great Western Mainline to go through Abingdon, but the locals in Abingdon declared that they didn't want that. They didn't want a railway going through their small town, so instead Brunel had to put it through here at Didcot, build the station at Didcot because it would be the junction for the Oxford line, and Didcot thus became a big railway town. There wasn't really much here before the station at Didcot was constructed. Originally the station was built entirely out of wood. It burnt down in 1885 and was then rebuilt to a more, less flammable standard. Now GWR had like hopes for the area of Didcot. They wanted it to be a big workers' town for the workers for Great Western. They wanted to build a bunch of houses here to house their workers on the Great Western Railway, but landowners decided that they didn't want that. So Didcot took some time to become the railway town that it is today, and instead Brunel chose Swindon as the main sort of hub for Great Western staff to live in. However, eventually they got a whopping 32 houses were built on Station Road in 1911 for the staff of the GWR. I don't know if they still exist or not, because there's a lot of like sort of new buildings now along here, so I'm not too sure if these houses exist to this day or not. Now the line here from Didcot, it was a much busier station. It had the Didcot, Newbury and Southampton Railway, which the line went from here to Didcot to Newbury, Winchester, Eastleigh, and then over to the old Southampton terminus station. This line closed in 1962. Now you can still sort of see the old bay platform. It's located to the east of platform 1. There's sort of like a ramping up I'll put a shot of it, you can sort of see where it once was. The station also housed the junction to Birkenhead via Birmingham and Snow Hill. However, this line saw services cease in 1910. In 1985, British Rail decided to make it an even more important station by adding the Parkway suffix and building a massive car park. I believe there's like a massive new multi-storey car park somewhere around here, but yeah, there's loads of car parking. I believe it's 600 space car park, and this station got turned into a Parkway station. A lot of new houses have been built around here because of the station, of course, and yeah, the station got a new resurgence in life. Now, not all services call at the station, especially not the cross-country ones. And the cross-country ones currently use this like diversionary track just to the right of me. And if you're on the train, you can see Didcot Parkway, but your train doesn't stop there. In 2003, before 2003, cross-country, Virgin Cross-Country did have some long-distance services here, between Birmingham, up to Birmingham, Manchester, and then down towards Reading and Bournemouth. But Virgin opted to use the Didcot East Curve instead. To this day, I believe 2 cross-country services a day pass through Didcot Parkway station just to retain route knowledge in case the East Curve is closed for whatever reason. So they can still run services through here. They don't call them here anymore though, and I think it's been a while since Didcot got any long-distance services towards Birmingham. Now, services on the West Curve, which is just past here, and that would link Oxford towards Bristol, didn't get any services from 2003 up to 2024 when GWR reinstated the service from Bristol to Oxford. It ran for like, I believe it ran during the summer in 2024 on like a few Saturdays, a few services a day on a Saturday. I don't think that service is running at the moment on a Saturday because it's the winter timetable. I think they want to make it like an hourly service, but they just don't have the capability to do that at the moment. Today the station has 5 platforms, has obviously gone through the major electrification work, and yeah, it's an important station. It sees quite a lot of services. Not every service stops here. Of course, the cross-country ones skip, but also quite a lot of the GWR long-distance services towards like Plymouth and Penzance also skip. I think it seems like 1 train a day to Weston-super-Mare, 1 train a day to Penzance, but it does see like the Cheltenham services. I believe most of the Cardiff services stop here. And of course, you have the Didcot to Paddington services. Of course, they terminate here. There's the Didcot to Oxford and Banbury services. They're the local turbos, Class 165s, which run along here, serving some of the local stations like Culham. They stop here while they terminate here. And the GWR services to Oxford and Hereford and up there towards Malvern, they also stop here. The station saw around 1.2 million passengers to London in the last year, so London was the main destination for passengers. 28 million passengers use the station in total though, down from 32 million pre-COVID, but that's still a lot of passengers using this station. So it is a hugely important station on the Great Western Mainline and in the UK. Didcot itself, as I've sort of mentioned, grew due to the railways and currently has a population of around 32,000. The town has been a village for around 9,000 years, up until when the railways came. There's been evidence of Bronze Age settlements in the area and Romans who tried to drain the marshland for farming purposes but failed. The town isn't actually mentioned in the Domesday Book, first coming in the 13th century as Didcot, becoming Didcot, spelled with a U, and then Didcot with 2 T's from the 17th century before being renamed to Didcot. Now, Didcot literally means the home of Duda's people. Duda is the old king of the Mercian territories in Oxford, so Didcot literally means it's his place. Of course, the railways in the 1840s led to a huge growth, with the town becoming hugely important in the actual 2 world wars. A lot of traffic and a lot of personnel were sent from here down on the direct line to Southampton and via Newbury. So much trains were using that line, they had to double track the line, and yeah, the line saw a huge, and Didcot became a hugely important centre. There was like RAF barracks here, and yeah, Ministry of Defence offices were based here. Yeah, this was a very big station for the military. And the town is also, of course, home to the Didcot Railway Centre. I could not miss that out. I've not actually been, you have to pay, I'm not sure if it's open because it's the winter, but I know I came here a few months ago and they were running like steam trains. It's basically a heritage site for everything Great Western Railway pre-nationalisation. It opened in 1967 by the Great Western Society, houses loads of locomotives, loads of rolling stock, loads of assets. They run services as like a platform here, they run services around like a loop or something. It's 21 acres, it has 200 years of railway heritage. It's a hugely impressive place. Didcot is also home to a power station. Wow, very cool. And the Williams F1 team was founded in Didcot. I'm a big F1 fan, so for me that's kind of cool. I don't think they're based in Didcot anymore, but yeah, I mean, there's a lot to say about Didcot. It's a decent station. It's got an underpass and lifts, and there's old Network South East signs here. There's a lot of railway stuff here. I'm sure you could go into a lot more detail than I have gone to, but I would be here all day if I spoke about Didcot. It's a cool station, and I would recommend visiting. If you're into train spotting, it's not my thing, but if you are, come here. There's a lot to see. You can see all the services which pass through the station towards Oxford, all the fast services going towards Plymouth and Penzance, and the stopping services towards Oxford and whatnot. It's a good station, and I would highly recommend visiting. But yeah, I hope you have enjoyed this video. If so, smash like, subscribe to the channel. If you're feeling a little more generous, you could become a channel member from as little as 99p and just help me support the work that I do, help me go and come to places like this and do videos like this. I hope you have enjoyed looking at stations between Reading and Didcot. I certainly have. It's actually, I've actually loved going to all the little stations, which are tiny little places with this really good service into London. It's quite, yeah, it's quite surprising really. But yeah, I hope you have enjoyed. Once again, thanks for watching. I really do appreciate your support. Check out my Discord server, Twitter, Blue Sky, the links in the description below, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye. And of course, a huge thanks to my YouTube and Patreon members, including my first class members, Aaron Barry, Crispin McKee and JBNEL, my business zone members, Andrew Bowen, Anthony James Moore, ARK, Connor Gregg, Clive's Travelling Trains, Daniel Burford, Dave CDF, JTecho, Lewis C21, NJTE, Ollie G, Real, SZWL, That Transport Girl, Train Live GB, Welsh Train Enthusiast, Will Ho and Zach Renfrey, as well as my standard premium and standard class members. You can get your name on this list from as little as £2.99 a month, or support me for as little as 99p a month. I really appreciate all your support, and your support helps me to make videos like this one. Once again, thanks for watching. Check out my Discord server, Twitter and Blue Sky in the links in the description below, and I hope to see you soon. Goodbye.